Imagine a picture-perfect small town in the heart of America, where the morning sun casts a golden glow over tree-lined streets and cozy homes. But beneath that serene facade, a whirlwind of emotions is brewing, ready to upend everything. Picture this, a lavish wedding at an upscale hotel, white roses cascading down the steps, a sleek black limo idling curbside, guests buzzing with excitement. It's supposed to be a day of joy, vows, and new beginnings. But for the groom, this isn't just about love, it's a calculated act of vengeance. He sent an invitation to his ex-wife, the woman who gave him everything only to be cast aside like yesterday's news, his goal, to rub her nose in his so-called success, to make her feel insignificant and defeated. What he didn't count on was her walking through those doors not as a victim, but as a force of unbreakable strength, flanked by the three little girls he abandoned, triplets whose radiant smiles and poise would steal the show and shatter his illusions. If you've ever felt discarded, overlooked, or crushed by someone's cruelty, stick with me. This tale of resilience will hit you right in the heart and remind you that true power comes from rising above the pain. Let's go back to where it all started. Meet Emily, a kind-hearted woman from a modest background whose quiet determination and unwavering loyalty made her the backbone for those she loved. She fell head over heels for David in their early 20s, ignoring the warnings from friends and family who saw the red flags. Emily threw herself into their life together, scraping by on waitressing gigs during the day and freelance cleaning at night, often going without so he could pursue his ambitions. David came from money, but he craved more status, influence, the whole package. Emily believed in his dreams fiercely, sacrificing her own aspirations to fuel his climb. She cooked his meals, managed their tiny apartment, and even dipped into her savings to help him through business school. Her love was the quiet kind, the type that builds empires without seeking credit. But success has a way of twisting people. As David's career skyrocketed, landing him a high-powered job in finance, rubbing shoulders with the elite, his gratitude evaporated. The warmth in their home turned icy. Emily, once his rock, became a symbol of the struggles he wanted to forget. Without a second thought, he filed for divorce, leaving her with a rundown car that sputtered on startup and a cramped rental she could barely afford on her tips. The ink wasn't even dry on the papers when Emily discovered she was pregnant. Not with one baby, but 3 triplets. The news hit like a freight train. Alone, broke, and terrified, she stared at the ultrasound, tears streaming down her face. How could she possibly provide for 3 tiny lives when she could hardly keep herself afloat? In that moment of despair, something ignited inside her, a fierce maternal fire. These babies weren't a burden. They were her purpose, her reason to rebuild from the ground up. The years that followed were a blur of relentless hustle. Emily juggled multiple jobs, barista by morning, virtual assistant by afternoon, coming home exhausted to a chorus of cries from her infant daughters. Sleepless nights became her norm, rocking them in her arms while whispering promises of a better tomorrow. There were days when the fridge was nearly empty, when bills piled up like mountains, and when doubt whispered that she wasn't enough. But she pushed through, drawing strength from their gummy smiles and first words. She enrolled in online courses during nap times, honing her eye for design that she'd always tucked away. Slowly, she landed a spot at a local creative agency where her talent for crafting beautiful, heartfelt pieces caught on. Word spread, and before long, she launched her own online shop selling custom home decor items infused with the warmth and resilience she'd fought so hard to reclaim. It wasn't overnight riches, but it grew steadily, turning her passion into a thriving business that paid the bills and then some. Meanwhile, David reveled in his new world of luxury condos, exclusive parties, and superficial connections. He never reached out, never sent a birthday card or child support check. To his circle, he spun tales of escaping a draining marriage, positioning himself as the hero who broke free. When he met Sarah, a polished socialite from old money, it felt like validation. Their engagement was splashed across social media, glitzy photos, extravagant plans. But deep down, a sliver of bitterness lingered toward Emily. So, in a move dripping with pettiness, he mailed her an invitation to the wedding. He pictured her arriving disheveled, perhaps in hand-me-downs, forced to witness his triumph. It would be the ultimate twist of the knife, proving he'd leveled up while she faded into obscurity. Emily stared at that gilded envelope, her heart pounding. Part of her wanted to shred it and move on. But then she thought of the silent judgments she'd endured, the pitying glances from mutual acquaintances. The rumors David had spread. This wasn't about stooping to his level. It was about reclaiming her narrative, showing her girls that no one gets to dim their light. With a deep breath, she RSVP'd yes and began planning not for drama, but for quiet empowerment. The wedding day dawned crisp and vibrant, the kind of autumn morning that feels alive with possibility. Guests in designer outfits mingled under crystal chandeliers, toasting to the happy couple. David, sharp in his tailored suit, basked in the spotlight, while Sarah beamed in her elegant lace gown, oblivious to the undercurrents. The ceremony was minutes away when another limo glided up the driveway, drawing curious stares. "Must be a VIP," someone murmured. The driver opened the door, and out stepped three identical little girls, 7 years old now, in sunny yellow, sundresses that matched their infectious energy. Their dark curls framed faces lit with excitement, holding hands as they skipped onto the pathway with the confidence only loved children possess. Then came Emily, stepping out like a vision in a flowing emerald dress that hugged her curves just right. Her hair swept back, makeup subtle yet striking. She exuded a glow that money couldn't buy, the kind earned through trials and triumphs. The crowd fell silent, then erupted in whispers. "Is that with kids?" David's face drained of color, his smug grin crumbling as reality hit. Sarah's poise faltered, her eyes darting uncertainly. Emily didn't seek out confrontation. She simply guided her daughters forward, their small hands in hers, greeting old faces with warm smiles. The triplets charmed everyone, instantly giggling at the flower arrangements, waving shyly at admirers. Guests who'd bought into David's version of events now saw the full picture, a woman who'd been betrayed yet blossomed, raising three miracles. On sheer willpower, the vows proceeded, but the atmosphere had shifted irrevocably. Eyes kept drifting to Emily, seated gracefully with her girls, who whispered questions about the pretty lady in white. No outbursts, no scenes, just her presence, a living testament to what real strength looks like. David avoided her gaze, a flicker of regret piercing his armor, but his ego held firm. By cocktail hour, compliments flowed Emily's way. "You look incredible." "Those girls are angels." Apologies hung unspoken in the air from those who judged her harshly. Sarah, sensing the unspoken comparisons, gripped her bouquet tighter, her day overshadowed not by malice, but by authenticity. As the evening wound down, Emily gathered her daughters and slipped away quietly, leaving behind a ripple effect. Word of the moment spread like wildfire through their community coffee shops in Toronto, office chats in New York exposing David's shallowness. His reputation took a hit, clients questioning his integrity. Emily's business boomed, drawing customers inspired by her story of quiet perseverance. She became a beacon for single moms across North America, from Vancouver to Chicago, proving that success isn't measured in bank accounts, but in the love you nurture and the grace you carry. In the end, Emily found a profound peace, knowing she'd turned heartbreak into a legacy. Her daughters grew up fierce and kind, idolizing their mom's unyielding spirit over any absent father's tailies. Pain had tested her, but it forged something unbreakable. Remember, when life hands you betrayal, you don't have to strike back. You rise, you thrive, and you let your light expose the shadows. What about you? If you were in Emily's shoes, facing that invitation after years of struggle, would you show up and reclaim your power or walk away forever? Share your thoughts. Your story might just lift someone else who's fighting their own battle right now.